The air in the bathroom was thick with the scent of eucalyptus from the diffuser I'd bought to calm my nerves during those endless fertility cycles. It was supposed to be a sanctuary, this space, our space where Ethan and I had once laughed over toothpaste splattered on the mirror or argued about whose turn it was to clean the grout. Now it felt like a crime scene. My fingers brushed against the small rectangular box wedged behind Ethan's cedarwood aftershave and a half-empty bottle of my prenatal vitamins, the ones I'd stopped taking 3 months ago when he'd convine said me we needed a break. The box was light, unassuming, but when I pulled it out, the words early response pregnancy test glared at me like an accusation. For a fleeting moment, wild, irrational hope fluttered in my chest. Had I bought this in one of my late-night spirals, driven to the 24-hour pharmacy by desperation and forgotten it? But no. I knew myself too well. My tests were always in the wicker basket under the sink, lined up like little soldiers, each one a silent prayer. This one was different, hidden, used. The wrapper inside was crumpled, and when I tipped the box, the plastic stick slid into my palm. 2 pink lines. Positive. I sank to the cold tile floor, the test clutched in my trembling hand, as 3 years of needles, bruises, and whispered promises crashed over me. Ethan and I had turned our marriage into a battlefield of hormone injections and scheduled intimacy. Our bedroom no longer a refuge but a sterile lab where love eroded under the weight of ovulation charts. Dear. Patel's voice echoed in my mind from our last appointment. You're still young, Laura. 36 isn't the end of the road. We just need to tweak the protocol. I'd clung to that, even as Ethan pulled away, his size growing heavier with each failed cycle. Maybe we should pause, he'd said last month, his voice soft, almost tender. Give your body a rest. I nodded, thinking it was for me, for us. Now the EVY denke of his real rest burned against my skin. Headlights sliced through the bathroom window, and I jolted upright. Ethan was home. I shoved the test into the pocket of my robe, splashed water on my face, and stared at my reflection, eyes too wide, skin too pale, a woman teetering on the edge of something irreparable. Laura? You up there? His voice floated up from the foyer, warm and casual, as if he hadn't just stashed another woman's future in our bathroom cabinet. I gripped the sink, steadying myself. Upstairs, I called back, my voice a marvel of control. He appeared in the doorway moments later, his gym bag slung over one shoulder, dark hair damp from what I'd always assumed was a post-gym shower. Ethan prided himself on never bringing his sweat home to me, a small, stupid thing I'd once found endearing. You okay? You look off, he said, his brow creasing with what might have been concern. I pulled the test from my pocket and held it out, watching his face like a hawk. I found this. His expression flickered shock, panic, a quick recalibration before settling into confusion. What's this? He took it, turning it over as if it were an alien artifact, which was absurd given how many times he'd sat beside me, waiting for those lines to appear or not. Don't, I snapped, sharper than I meant. It was behind your aftershave. It's positive. And it's not mine. His face softened into something earnest, almost convincing. Laura, it must be old from when we were trying before the last round. You know how cluttered that cabinet gets. I keep mine in the basket, I said, my voice steady as the ground shifted beneath me. This is recent. The expiration's next year. He shrugged, reaching for me. Then I don't know how it got there. Maybe the cleaning crew. I sidestepped his arms. Marisol's 58, Ethan, and she's been single since her husband passed. Try again. A flash of irritation crossed his face. I don't know what to tell you. You're seeing something that isn't there. That's when I caught Ed a faint whiff. Not his usual cedar cologne but something softer, floral. Jasmine, maybe with a hint of lemon. The same scent that clung to our couch every Wednesday and Friday after his private stretching sessions with his physical therapist, Tessa. How's Tessa these days? I asked, the name dropping like a guillotine. His jaw tightened. What? Your therapist? The one who comes here twice a week while I'm at work. The one whose perfume you're wearing. Don't be ridiculous, Laura. He ran a hand through his Hyra tell I'd ignored for years. Tessa's a professional. She's helping me with my back so I can be here for you. For me. A laugh escaped, brittle and hollow. Is she pregnant, Ethan? This is insane. He tossed the test into the trash and brushed past me. I'm showering. We'll talk when you're rational. I stood there, the room closing in, then retrieved the test from the bin, wrapping it in tissue and tucking it into my jewelry box, an artifact of betrayal I couldn't yet let go. Downstairs, I poured a glass of the Pinot Noir we'd saved for our 10th anniversary, the one we never celebrated because he'd been stuck at the office. 3 years of avoiding alcohol for the sake of a baby that never came, and now the wine hit me like a freight train. I scrolled through our shared photos, Ethan's arm around me at a VY neared in Sonoma. Both of us grinning like the world was ours. Had Tessa been in the picture then? Was I already a placeholder? When he came downstairs, hair wet from his second shower, I was at the kitchen island, my laptop open to Tessa's Instagram. 31, certified physical therapist, all lean muscle and sun-kissed skin. Recent posts. Kale smoothies, yoga poses on a cliffside, captions about healing through movement. What are you doing? Ethan's voice was tight. Getting to know the woman carrying your kid, I said, not looking up. She's flexible. This is nuts, Laura. I'm not sleeping with Tessa. She's my therapist. I scrolled to a photo of her in a tank top, hands on her hips, smiling at the camera in what was unmistakably our levying room. Because the clinic's too crowded? You're inventing this. He grabbed a beer, his movements sharp. I've been pulling 60-hour weeks at the firm. When do you think I'm orchestrating an affair? The question was fair, but the test wasn't a hallucination. That night he slept soundly while I lay awake, replaying the extra shower, the jasmine scent, the casual discard of Ivoidenke. At 3 a.m. I slipped into the guest room with my laptop and Googled divorce lawyers, compiling a list as dawn crept through the blinds. By morning I knew 2 things. Ethan was lying and I needed proof. 3 days later I called in sick to my job at the nonprofit and parked my Prius 2 streets over, watching Ethan leave in his sleek black Audi. He was supposed to be heading to the law firm, but he turned west instead. I followed, heart pounding, grateful for my car's anonymity against his ostentatious ride. 40 minutes later, he pulled into the lot of Hillcrest Reproductive Health, the clinic, where we'd spent years chasing a dream. I sank low in my seat as he checked his phone, then strode inside. 15 minutes later, Tessa arrived in a silver SUV, one hand resting on her stomach. She smiled when she saw him waiting at the entrance, and their embrace was effortless, intimate. They disappeared inside together. I sat there, knuckles white on the wheel, the prenatal vitamins in our bathroom clicking into place, not mine but hers. How many times had she showered here, lounged on our couch, maybe even slept in our bed? I opened our phone account on my cell, scrolling Ethan's call log. One number appeared daily, sometimes late at night when he was working late. I saved it as T and kept digging. Our shared cloud storage was next, Ethan's idea. In case one of our phones dies. In a folder labeled Mobility Goals I found photos of Tessa, stretching in our levying room, laughing on our patio, the latest one timestamped last week, her hand on a subtle bump, Ethan's shadow in the frame. The next morning, I faked sleep as he left for work, then raided his home office. His laptop password, our anniversary plus our old cat's name, failed. 3 attempts and I was locked out. Another secret wall. But his phone was fair game. That evening as the shower ran, I grabbed it from the counter. My fingerprint still worked. The text thread with Tessa PT stretched back 9 months. Missed you today. He'd written yesterday. You and our little sprout are everything. Her reply. We need to figure out timing. I'm showing and my lease ends soon. Further down. What if Laura fights the divorce? She won't. The treatments failed and she's obsessed with her job. She'll be fine. My hands shook as I read their future unfolding without me. The shower stopped. I set the phone down, adrenaline surging. That night I called Rachel Voss, the top divorce attorney on my list. Standard procedure, she said the next day in her glass-walled office. If he's hiding assets, we'll find them. Hire my pie's worth every penny. A week later, the investigator delivered a dossier. Photos of Ethan and Tessa at bistros, entering a loft downtown, shopping for cribs. Financials showed a secret account Ethan had opened 7 months ago, siphoning joint SAVYNGS under consulting fees, plus a mortgage pre-approval in his name alone. He's building a new life, Rachel said, her tone matter of fact. With your money. I stayed calm, cataloging Ivuai like a scientist. The following weekend, Ethan claimed a team-building retreat. I photographed our financials, copied tax returns, and packed a go-bag. Monday he returned buzzing. Big news, Laura. The firm's fast-tracking my senior counsel promotion. Announcements Friday at the gala. Fantastic, I said, kissing his cheek with a smile that hit my teeth. What should I wear? While he showered, I checked his Jaquita receipt from Little Wonder's boutique for a onesie reading Daddy's Future Litigator, bought that afternoon. I slipped it back, a plan crystallizing. I needed space to think. Tuesday morning I drove to Brew Vabine, a hole-in-the-wall cafe in Oakwood, too artsy for Ethan's polished tastes. My latte had just arrived when the door jingled, and Victor Grayson walked in, Ethan's uncle, a retired architect with a quiet intensity. He spotted me and paused. Laura? What brings you here? Tears hit before I could stop them, and I swiped at my face, humiliated. He sat across from me without asking. What's wrong? The dam broke. I told him everything, the test, the clinic, the text, the money. I expected skepticism, but his face darkened with something else. He's his aunt's nephew, he muttered. What? Victor sighed. Clara, my sister Ethan's mom, left when he was 12. Not for a job like he says, but for her dance instructor, Lena. I caught them once in the studio after hours. Clara swore it was nothing, but she was gone 6 months later. He never told me. He wouldn't. He rewrote its age. She chased a career in Seattle. Easier than the truth. You knew about Tessa? Suspected. Saw them at a firm picnic last year, too close for therapy. I hoped you'd anchor him, break the pattern. Why didn't you say anything? Would you have believed me without proof? He had a point. What now? He asked. Divorce papers are ready. But first the gala. I'm ending this on my terms. Victor's eyes gleamed. The whole firm will be there, including me. Charles Langston, the managing partner, loves Ethan's Family Man Act. It's his ticket to senior counsel. Not after Friday, I said. He nodded. Need help? Just be there. We strategized for an hour, key players, seating, timing. Victor handed me keys as we left. My cabin in Mendocino. Remote, quiet. You'll need it after. I can't, you can. You're more Grayson than he ever was. I took them, gratitude tightening my throat. Friday arrived. I dressed in a charcoal gown with a thigh-high slit. Hair swept into a sharp updo Ethan once called too aggressive. The divorce papers nestled in a gift box with the onesie. At the Fairmont's ballroom, Ethan schmoozed near the bar. Tessa in a sapphire dress that hugged her bump, her hand on his arm. Victor appeared beside me. Ready. As I'll ever be. Charles Langston's speech lauded Ethan's rise. His devotion to family. When Ethan took the podium, he toasted me. Laura's my foundation. I smiled back, ice in my veins. Victor stood. A toast from the family. Laura has a gift. I walked forward, heels clicking, and handed Ethan the box. He unwrapped it, confusion morphing to dread as he lifted the onesie, then the papers. Congratulations, Ethan, I said, voice ringing out. On senior counsel and fatherhood. Tessa's expecting. The divorce papers are my gift to your new start. The room gasped. Ethan paled. This is true, I cut in. You've been promising her a future while I injected hormones for hours. Tessa stood shrill. He said you were done, that it was a marriage on paper. Charles rose furious. My office Monday. Women from the firm flanked me as I left. Victor's gnawed my anchor. At the cabin that night I slept without dreams, waking to ocean waves and a new beginning. Months later, the divorce settled fast. Ethan didn't fight. His career in tatters. Victor deeded me the cabin, a gift I accepted. I swam, hiked, and started consulting for a coastal law firm. One crisp fall day, Ethan showed up hollow-eyed. Tessa miscarried. She's gone. I messed up, Laura. We could try again. There's no we, I said, unmoved. He left and I stood on my dock, breathing free, the horizon mine alone.